Aloha once again, friends and family. Had to take her down yesterday. She was leaning right this way. She would have fell right on the garden. So me and a friend of mine rigged her up to a truck and cut her and pulled her and held her breath. And it came out perfectly, so very happy about that. Sorry, I'm trying to get myself situated here. Beautiful, wonderful morning. Couple clarifications from yesterday. I said we are here in the illusion. We see it and we feel it. We are here among the illusion. So I don't mean to say we are in the illusion the way that NPCs are. We're just among it. And we do see it and we do feel it. And it does have a big effect on everybody. And the other thing is the ego. The ego, it does not exist until a human creates it. And the creating of it could be done, probably while you're in the womb still. And that is the illusion. See, that is the illusion. And then it creates the external illusions. So only because of, excuse me, my throat always wants to get funny when I'm making a video. Kind of lost my train of thought there. What was I talking about? Oh, the ego. The ego doesn't exist until a human creates it. And it's only creatable because of the separation, the idea of separation, and the subsequent co-creation of duality. See, by this time, we've only gone a little ways here. By this time, we're already contrary to first cause in our thinking. Meaning that if we've gone the course of duality, creating an ego, creating the illusion of separation, we're already disconnected from the cosmic laws, and we've entered into an illusion within an illusion, because the whole thing, even once you're past all that, you've reconciled the ego, it's now cooperating. You could even get so far as to realize the ego never was even real. It was all a figment of the imagination. There never was opposition to first cause. But in this illusion, it sure seems like there was and is. But even after you reconcile all that and you're in the ego's, cooperating or dead, or however you want to think of it. You could think of it as dead. You could think of it as cooperating. Hey, B, get going now. You could think of it... submitted to the higher self. But if we went back in time before the ego came about, then where would it be? It wouldn't exist. And so all the illusion that it brought about wouldn't exist, because it only came from us creating it, or from the ego creating it. Again, because of beliefs. It believed it was separate. It believed it was a sinner. It believed it was fallen. It believed that God's creation could, separate from itself. And that's the part of Christianity that still is lacking clarity. Because it primarily became an egoic religion. It's a way for the ego to make itself, this false identity, think that everything's okay if you accept Jesus. You're headed to heaven if you accept Jesus. And now the ego is free to feel happy and secure and content and all that. But see, that's not you. So it's a false, everything about that is false. It's still egoic. That's the point. It's a more humble manifestation of the ego. But still, ego is still ego. Illusion is still illusion. Until we identify what the illusion is and how it's coming about, there's no escaping it. There's no getting away from it. So eventually we will progress to where we don't identify even as a human. We will understand the difference between human and man, and we will again identify as man. The man created in the image of God that was never separated and couldn't be, except that man create an ego and all the subsequent illusions that go with it. It's very simple, but it's not so simple, because we've been identifying as humans with our egos for many lifetimes. And now we're, dealing with Kali Yuga and the harvesting of souls, that are ready. And this is that lifetime. See, this is not a lifetime where you want to not pass and graduate. This is not that one. You've had those behind you. This is the one. This is the lifetime. This is the time. This is the conscious upgrade. This is the earth upgrade. This is the moment of clarity. This is the time to shed the ego permanently. But you're only going to shed it permanently if you see it, if you get it, if you are fully, persuaded within yourself that is where the illusion comes from. Again, the illusion within the illusion, because even after all that, we find ourselves in basically a dream world that's a hard one to grasp too, man. It seems hard to come to the realization that this waking life, this thing we call our life here, is a dream. And that we have a realer life someplace else. And we've got so disconnected from that. See, that doesn't even seem, again, that just seems like some kind of guru talk or whatever. But go deep within. You'll find it out yourself. See, that's how you know. That's how you'll know. You have to find it out yourself. You have to come to the realization yourself that this waking life is as much of a dream and even more of a dream than when you're sleeping and dreaming. And again, you leave your body and you go into another life and another place. And it's much different because you're not in the illusion at that point. See, when we come into this one, we're coming into an illusion, and that was fine. That's how it was meant to be, the manifestation of physicality from the polarity of the invisible. That's how it was meant to be. That's how God made it. But we weren't meant to then create an ego and then create a subsequent illusion. Now you're in a double illusion, or we could say a double bind. So just, to think that you were separated from God or are separated from God or are separatable from God, boom, instantly you've created a secondary illusion. And you continue that train of thought, you will continue to strengthen that secondary illusion. And you'll end up in a world like seemingly this one, where everything's divided, everything's disconnected, everything is convoluted, everything's watered down, and it doesn't feel good to be in that secondary illusion. It feels great to be in the original illusion or the original dream. It feels great there, in the Garden of Eden. That was the first illusory realm that came about, again, from God creating it to work that way, from invisible to visible. But once you get to the visible, it came through the invisible. So whatever you're seeing has to be a reflection. Reflection of what? A reflection of the invisible, the reflection of that which you do not see with physicality. See, physicality is temporal. Anything temporal is illusion, because it seemingly passes away. Well, not seemingly, it does. Physicality passes away. A tree dies, like the one behind me we cut down. It's going to get cut up and either rot away or get burned. And the human has followed course so far. But again, we're getting to the level and to the point where it'll no longer be necessary for the human physicality to pass away, because it's eternal anyway. But in the illusion, it's not eternal. All right, so reconcile the illusion, the secondary illusion first, then come to grips about how the real illusion is working. And then we'll come to realize, well, if we're eternal anyway, what's the point of dropping bodies? I mean, couldn't we just manifest another one, or keep this one, or transform this one into whatever human form we wanted to take on? We're headed there. That's probably maybe a little bit ahead of the curve with that thinking, but we're headed there. And do the math, work it out. You'll see that we are headed there. But you're not headed there if you can't even believe it. See, if you can't even conceive of it, if it sounds like just utter impossibility. Well, it'll remain utter impossibility for you. Again, the limitations come from us, and us meaning the ego. The ego is an illusion and a secondary illusion within the original illusion. So I think, Christianity's headed for reconciliation, with modern spirituality, because modern spirituality knows all this. Modern spiritual teachers know this stuff. They've already been teaching this. They've already been sharing this. They've already grokked this. But Christianity has not. Some of it has. I'm sure some of it has. Some of them have. But most have not. Again, escaping that ego is the hardest thing you're ever going to do in this realm. To really see your ego for what it really is, how it's an illusion, how it's a false identity, how God did not create it, but you identify as it. We have, all of us have. We have identified as something that God did not create. So we could sugarcoat that any way we want to. It's not going to fix it. It's not going to make it, line up with cosmic law. So that's it for this one, folks. I'm just adding on a little bit to yesterday's, because those 2 points, I like to be clear. I don't want to just blanketly say we're all in the illusion and not clarify what I mean by that. So I wanted to just make it clearer. And of course, if you have any questions, drop it down there. Such a nice sound, listening to the water and the birds. Very meditative. I reckon we could start our meditation now. If you want some good sounds that facilitate it, go back a couple videos to the meditation video, because I don't speak on that one whatsoever. It's just purely nature and telepathic. You'll hear within your heart on that video. No ears required. All right, love and light. Till next time, peace.